If you ever think to yourself, Jake, how do you get so much sweet information about these updates? Well, I have a few twicks up my sleeve. What's going on, YouTube? With update 46 hitting us here on June 2nd for those of us on PC and June 18th for those of us on console, a lot to talk about when it comes to get rich quick schemes. Now, a lot of people might be thinking to themselves, Jake, isn't this a little bit premature? Well, generally, when I post these videos the day before, people are like, oh my gosh, I wish I had more time to prepare. So, this is your time to prepare so that way you know going in these are the things and ways to make money. And spoiler, some of them are going to require currencies that you already have, such as alliance points. So thankfully, you've got some time to stock up, build up, and kind of get ready for getting rich in update 46. Biggest thing right off the bat is, hey, we're going to have a brand new zone. Brand new zone's going to have treasure maps. The treasure maps are also going to have exclusive antiquities inside of them. So not just are you going to be able to get the new sets, the new Hubble Bubble, but you'll also be able to get the new antiquities, meaning that these are actually going to be some of the more valuable items to get. Anytime you get a treasure map from a recent zone, always price check it. Use the resources below in my description. We can help price check items for you using those things depending on which console you play on. But I just wanted to start there because obviously it's a pretty straightforward place to start. There's going to be new sets. It's a new zone. The sets will sell decently well because nobody will have them because the update has hypothetically just released. The treasure maps will be valuable for a long time even afterwards. So usually if you're playing in an event, the event boxes might give you extra treasure maps. Probably for the next year or two, even after this event, they're going to retain a significant amount of value, similar to how the Necrom treasure maps are still valuable, even though Telvanni Peninsula and Apocrypha have been out for a hot minute now. Now, the biggest thing with any update, even update 45, which really wasn't even a huge update in terms of, release compared to update 46, it's always going to be furnishings, right? So these areas are going to have high tier furnishings. And the reason I always like to mention this too is you might just be walking along all wimbly bimbly, and then you open a backpack, boom, you get something worth 1,000,000 gold. Now, if you're like my friend David, you just bind it to your sticker book because you have no idea what you've stumbled upon. However, I just want to point out that there's quite a few places and things to get these furnishings that I just want to kind of go over with you because you may accidentally stumble upon them. Now, some of them are going to be tied specifically to achievements. That's pretty normal. You don't have to necessarily worry about those. Some of them are going to be tied to antiquities. What's nice about that is that's just going to help retain some value for the treasure maps. And then other ones are going to be sold as part of their home goods furnishers. But there's going to be other ones that are found in unique places, such as found across Solstice. So 68 of them you could just find out in the wilderness, boxes, trunks, closets, etc. 5 will also be able to be found when excavating antiquities of intermediate or higher difficulty, which is important because you could be doing some antiquities in the zone, and then wham bam, thank you ma'am, you got yourself one of 5 new furnishings, which are bound to be worth tons, 4 of which can be fished, which is awesome because we haven't had a zone recently that has like a crazy amount of reasons to do fishing in it. Necrom definitely had some cool stuff in its fishing area, but we unfortunately didn't really see a whole lot of that in Westweld. Then, even more coolioli, we have 14 from pickpocketing citizens. I love that. I love the concept of pickpocketing people. There's not too many places like that in ESO. Obviously, the most prevalent one is the Shivering Cheese, which can be pickpocketed in a very particular area from provisioning people nonetheless. I believe you'd have to go all the way down to Malbator. And then we got a couple more miscellaneous ones. We have the algae-laden support packs. 12 of them will be in there. We have 11, which will be found inside the actual treasure maps themselves, which is also very cool. 8 will be inside of alchemy and clothing resource nodes, which is going to be really unique. There's not that many zones where it's super valuable to harvest in specifically, except for ones like Craglorn, most notably. And then 2 will come from blacksmithing and jewelry resource nodes. So quite a few different areas to get these new furnishings, which is going to be very imperative if you want to make money off the bat, because these day ones all the way probably to a couple weeks in are going to be worth exceptional amounts of gold. As time goes on, they'll probably level out and hit a median like you see with ones like the Leowin plans all the way from Blackwood. They still retain some value, but they've definitely lost it because there's not enough attention drawn to them. People aren't looking for them. And usually, to the new houses, if you're like, Jake, there's already a lot of furniture in the game. Why do we need more furniture? Well, Usually the houses that are usually just released are thematic to these new furnishings. So people of the most high quality wealth in ESO are drawn to them because it's like, well, hey, I want to decorate this new house with items that look like it would belong in that house. And finally, a big one, Siege merchants will now sell bound tri-restoration potions. Now, this is actually a pretty big change. For 1,000 Alliance points, you can buy a bound tri-stat potion. Now, this is going to have huge economic changes into our current kind of status when it comes to potions because alchemy ingredients are ridiculously expensive, especially on PC. On console, it's not nearly as bad, probably because of the botting. And realistically, there's not as much usage of those tri-stat potions because different types of content are more popular on different mega servers. But this is a big economic change because now this means that with the changes to the provisioning satchels inside of the Infinite Archive, now the alchemy ingredients, which were a pretty close second, the alchemy satchels are probably not going to be nearly as profitable because people who just want a bunch of tri-stat potions instead of having to buy them off the ESO open market or buy the ingredients from them separately, well, they're now just going to be able to buy them for Alliance points. This is a pretty big change. If you're banking on alchemy ingredients, if you've got a ton of archival fortunes, I would start looking for treasure maps or some other things like the ones that are in this week, try to offset and get rid of some of those items. So keep all of that information in mind as we go forward. This is a big economic change. And I also don't know, this easily could be changed in the future to unbound tri-stat potions. I've seen people been asking for that on the forums. This is just our first wave of PTS, so expect a lot of this stuff to change. I will update you, obviously, in the comments below on this video if there is any changes. This is a big one. The next big thing is going to be console add-ons. Now, a lot of people have thought, Jake, what's this going to do? Is the whole economy going to become like PCs? No. However, this will cause gradual inflation over time because more people are going to be able to do things like easy crafting writs, just boop, and done with add-ons. So this is definitely going to see a kind of higher uptick in people doing things like daily crafting writs, like farming materials, like doing things which will cause an increase in gold supply because people are doing things in addition than they normally would. They're getting additional gold from the game for it. They're not getting gold from other players, which is important because that's what inflation really boils down to. And therefore, we're going to see things probably become a little bit more expensive over time. But that's not necessarily the end of the world because when you have a higher amount of people with supplies for gold, you can always sell items to them and make more gold because the supply of people who are richer will increase. So it's a whole lot of economical things. It's important to note too that you have to have the newest consoles to do it, like the PS5, the Xbox Series console. So it's not going to just rapidly increase, day one, and it's not going to be a huge majority of players doing this. And in fact, there's probably already a significant amount of people that do the things that are going to, cause inflation, such as resource farming, which will get easier with add-ons, daily crafting writs. There's already hundreds of thousands of people that do those every day. So all that to say, it will have an impact, but I don't think it's as big as some people are foretelling it to be. Another thing is something for you, the viewer, to keep an eye out on, because I've been noticing this, is that when subclassing was announced, a lot of things that I used to sell a lot of have been selling at higher rates. And I thought to myself, that's weird. But it makes sense. Sets like Deadly Strike, which notoriously had just been very orchestrated for the Templar and the Arcanist, now is really against for anybody who wants to increase your damage over time and channel attacks due by 15%. There are going to be quite a few sets that see an uptick in value. Now, it's hard for me to tell you immediately which ones of those are going to be, but I would tell you that ones that are flame damage based, ones that are pet based, and ones that were usually kind of geared towards one class or another, now with the subclassing system coming, means that those are going to see a huge uptick in value. I've noted it with Deadly Strike, and I can tell you that it's going to be very similar for sets like Elfbane and other ones that you can purchase with your Alliance points, but not just those, just sets in general that are very good for multiple classes. And with the changes to Hardened Ward coming, I could see Necropotence back on the rise again because many people may be switching back to either pet Sorks or some sort of Sork that uses pets from other places to make sure that Hardened Ward still heals you. Big change, and also could see a resurgence in the value of sets such as Necropotence. And if you're like, Jake, I need some more sauce here. What are some other sets? Well, really all you need to do is just watch some YouTube videos on Update 46 builds. People are coming up with all sorts of crazy theory crafting, and anything that gets popular is going to be purchased and used by players in the future. Especially if you can find these videos early enough, you can easily find some ways to flip some profit on them. So there's going to be a lot of ways that you can profit kind of beforehand, afterwards, and some other important considerations too, is as we talk about things like alliance points, is that people are going to probably be saving alliance points to get tons of tri-stat potions. So probably quite a few things that were normally purchased with alliance points might not be converted in the same ways into gold. People might just convert them straight into potions, which is going to be a unique way to see what happens with alliance points. Are all the sets going to see an uptick in value, including things like triune crystals? It'll definitely be interesting to see how things get affected in the long run, because a lot of people might opt to get all their potions with their alliance points through that method versus trying to go through and get all these alchemy ingredients. But everyone, let me know what you guys think. Thank you again for watching. This has been a bit of a unique video because we don't usually do these videos so far in the past, waiting for the update to come out. But wanted to get your guys' brainal juices flowing, because I always like to teach you where you might want to look to find some information. As people put out all of these crazy builds, think to yourself, as these get views, other people are going to be wanting the sets that they're using. I could start selling those sets right now. A lot of them are base game sets. Crafty Alfiq, Necropotence, Deadly Strike, Elfbane. If you see a set that's on there that you think is going to see a resurgence that's sellable, make yourself some hefty profit. Maybe you want to save alliance points. Maybe you've invested so much into all these alchemy ingredients, you're like, oh shoot, I need to dump these right now before everybody in the player base realizes that they could just spend some alliance points to go get these. I don't think that they're going to drop too much in value, but it's important to consider that there definitely will be a shift from alchemy ingredients, especially on PC, which has seen a significant investment in alchemy ingredients as some of their best ways to convert things like Archival Fortunes and even Telvar, which I always thought was kind of crazy because I'm a huge fan of the superb 1.5k Telvar coffer. We're losing our minds here. So thank you guys so much again for watching. I don't want to ramble too much here at the very end, but it's always fun to make these videos for you guys. Always have fun doing them. So thank you guys again. We're doing our quick 3 giveaway drawings. All you need to do is be subscribed. We're on the road to 30,000 subscribers. We are less than 500 subs away from 30k, which is crazy. I'll have to think of what to do for that special video. Second thing is just make sure you leave a comment and a like on the video. And the third thing is look for hidden word be flashed upon the screen. We hide 1 word per month at least on a video. So if you're the first person to find and comment that word, you will win. Thank you guys so much again for watching. No, I will never pronounce Arteron correctly, and I will catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.